Alright, today we're gonna do a tier list on Minecraft food. Basically how good it is, how bad it is, how garbage it is, basically all that, okay? You get it? Good. And by the way, the current update at the time of recording is 1.17.1, so I don't know if 1.18 is gonna add any other food, and if it's not on this tier list, sorry, I can't predict the future. What do you think I am? What do you think I am? Boingo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Nah, I'm not. Let's start off with the first introduced food in the Minecraft, and it's a pretty obscure one. They are mushrooms. Now, most people don't know that in the survival test of Minecraft, there were mushrooms, and that was the first food that you can eat. Brown mushrooms healed 5 hearts, or 5 points of hearts, whatever, and red ones healed 3. Most people don't know that mushrooms were edible on its own back in the Yule days because, let's be real, it was rather short-lived as it got replaced by mushroom stew later on. Since it was the first item, it gives an alright amount of health, because remember, back before beta 1.8, it had this, the hunger system was pretty weird as you didn't have a hunger bar, but you just eat the food when you take damage just to heal it back, which kind of interesting, but on the downside, you can't stack food, which sucks ass. So we're gonna start off by putting mushrooms in C tier. The next item added in the in-dev versions are apples. Now, apples heal 4 hearts in the old versions, they give you 4 points of hunger in the newest versions. Everybody knows that you can get these fruit from trees, and they might be the first Minecraft food that you will ever get, besides like the meats and maybe some bread. You can use them to heal horses and all that, so that's a major W for apples in my book. Plus, if you kill Notch in a game, for whatever reason, he drops an apple. So that's some significance right there. They usually go in B tier. I mean, they're alright on their own. It's just that they're not that common, and they're just food that's better. Let's be real. Mushroom stew was added in the version of in-dev sometime after mushrooms were removed to be edible. They healed 8 hearts, later on 10, and later on 6 hunger points. They are a bit more expensive to craft since you need a bowl and a way to find some mushrooms, which aren't exactly too common. So I'm gonna put this in C tier. This needs a lot of work in order to become pretty nice, because a lot of work goes into finding all the stuff to make mushroom stew, because you need the bowl, which is at least reusable, and somehow find a way to get the mushrooms, which aren't exactly too common. Plus, mushroom stew is not stackable, so I mean, you're better off with just steak or something. Next will be bread. You can get these from wheat, which is the first food that you will likely ever get from farming in Minecraft. And they are a speedrunner's best friend. Get it? Because they go to villages and get food from there. These heal about 5 health and 5 hunger. And they are easily obtainable from villages. Quite obvious, and you can make a pretty nice farm with them, since they are just so easy to obtain. I mean, you can just punch grass, get some seeds, and bam, you got a farm. You got a farm with wheat. However, if you have a small farm, the payoff is just not that good. But if you have a large farm, it's more efficient to make bread than it is to hunt cows or something. So I'm gonna put this in a high B tier. Raw pork chops and, you know, let's just say this, all other raw food go in their own tier. The raw tier. You only eat these if you are in a pinch, as they only heal 3 hearts, 3 hunger bars, sometimes less for other raw foods, blah blah blah. But once you cook them, they are much more effective at healing and filling your hunger. About 8 health and hunger when they are cooked. So I'm gonna put cooked pork chop in A tier. The only problem is that you need to have a mass collection of pigs in order to make your cooked pork chop factory pretty impressive. Now we arrive in the InfDev days. Golden apples are finally added, and they were crafted using gold blocks. So yeah, they were super expensive. But over time, the recipe was changed just to use golden bars. But when you get them, the rewards are pretty nice. Here's the thing, you get potion enchantments when you eat them, plus hunger too. Since in PvP, you get resistance and regeneration with it, so it's an easy S tier. The only problem are the resources that you will need to get them. If you want to collect them in mass, I highly recommend that you make a gold farm, because these things can be pretty difficult to get. In Alpha, we got milk. Now, milk is easy to collect since all you need is a reusable bucket and a cow. It doesn't restore any health and hunger, so that's why it's probably going to be controversial on this tier list because you may not consider it a food, but this is my tier list, so I do what I want. Anyway, it does kill off any random potion effects that you have, which is super useful. Now, imagine you're fighting the Wither or a Guardian, and you need to get rid of some Wither fatigue. Just pack up some milk and drink it all away, and bam, your potion effects worn off. Now, you can say that this is more of a utility rather than food, but then again, it's my tier list, so I'm gonna put this in B tier. Alright, cooked fish, previously known as cod. Now, cod gives you 5 points of hunger, 5 hearts, blah blah blah. You have to get these through the means of fishing, which isn't exactly too efficient in my opinion. Now, on my friend's realm, Grant built a giant XP farm, which produces a large amount of excess cod and other fishes, which is pretty cool. But with a fishing rod, it isn't too efficient to collect and cook, since you're only getting 1 fish per like 30 seconds. If you are a fishing guy or just need the achievement for fishing, then go for it. But I'm just trying to say here that unless you have a giant Guardian XP farm, COD is just outclassed by other options. So B tier by just barely. Now we are in the beta ages. The next thing Mojang added was cake. Now cake is very expensive to create, but it does give you 14 hunger points altogether, which is incredible, but then again, it takes a large amount of resources to create. Plus, you can only place the cake once. I mean, cake is cool and all, but it is a lie on how amazing it is in some tier list. I like to think of this as the brass beast of Minecraft food. It's a very heavy hunger healer, but nothing else. So, C tier? I don't know, probably low C tier. This is my most controversial choice, let's be real here. Cookies need wheat and cocoa beans to be created, and cocoa beans aren't exactly the easiest thing to find, without some exploring of course. Plus cookies only give you 2 hearts and hunger points, but whatever. Now here's a little fun fact. These were actually the first Minecraft food to be stackable. Yeah, because in the ye olde days you couldn't stack food, which is kinda stupid in my opinion. But what's weird is that you can only have 8 stacks of cookies, like 8 cookies in a stack, which is strange from the standard 64. They are a cool food in real life. Personally, my favorite are mint and chip cookies, but they have an interesting first for Minecraft. But this food isn't really useful, all things considered. You're better off eating raw food in my opinion. I think cookies are D tier. Introducing the controversial Beta 1.8 update were melons. Melons are kind of bad. You can only find them in chests and the jungle. They only heal about 2 hunger points, blah blah blah, but here's a little fun fact. In Beta 1.8, it was the first update to introduce the hunger system, so it's kinda interesting that melons were introduced here, but they are not a good source of food. They're not. I love melons in real life, just why are they a bad food source in Minecraft? Easy D tier, man. Alright, chicken. Now chicken can give you 6 points of hunger, and chickens are actually relatively easy to farm since they have eggs. In my friend's realm, again, there is what I like to call the chicken pain machine. It produces a good amount of chickens and a great amount of lag, but if you choose to kill the chickens, you could get a large amount of food there. So, I mean, this is just an example of the absurd amount of chickens that you can get since they're so easy to farm with egg. So I'm gonna put it here, cooked chicken, A tier. You can say the same for beef, which is now known as steak. Now there's nothing much to say about steak, but it goes in A tier as it gives you 8 hunger points, but sometimes cows can be a little difficult to find, blah blah blah. Steak is cool, okay? Just make sure you have a farm if you want to collect en masse steak. Rotten flesh goes into D tier. It gives you the hunger effect when you eat it, and very little points on the hunger bar. This food is what you eat when you are absolutely desperate, or you want to give some food to the dogs, or you have an excess zombie farm or mob farm, whatever it's called. D tier, D tier, D tier. Spider's eyes are an obvious E. They give you less hunger than rotten flesh and instant poison. They should be only used for potions and all that. Once again, E. Baked potatoes are pretty cool as they give you 5 hunger points and they're harvested rather quickly. So I'm going to put this in B tier, as they're better food, but it's not a bad food to farm. Poisoned potatoes. they give 1 more hunger point than raw potatoes, but they give you poisons, so it's a pretty bad trade-off. You're better off eating raw potatoes. Carrots give you 3 hunger points, so they aren't the greatest thing in the world. The only really useful thing that they are useful for are rabbits and carrots on a stick if you really love pigs, which, you know me, I love my Jeffries. So carrots go into D tier. Golden carrots don't give you 6 points of hunger, they give you the highest amount of food saturation in the game. Now, if you don't know what food saturation is, good, because I don't. But basically, it's something about how much you lose your hunger bar. It's something that I really don't care about, honestly. But they are less expensive to craft than golden apples, though you'll need some golden nuggets to craft instead of bars, so they are a little more easy to craft. You just have to go through mining. Plus, you can heal and breed horses with these, and rabbits too, so B tier. Pumpkin pie can give you 8 hunger points, but it is a little pricey as you need to somehow find a pumpkin patch, get some sugar, and some eggs. But it's better than what cake is because you can at least stack them, so B tier. Clownfish, or rather known as tropical fish now, suck as a food source. They only give 1 bar of hunger and it can't even be cooked. This goes in E tier, this thing sucks. Alright, salmon. You get these from fishing, you can get these from guardian farms, they give you 6 bars of hunger, but blah blah blah, you need to fish for it, blah blah blah, C tier, blah blah blah. Chorus fruit is legitimately very useful. Now, I've seen tier lists that put chorus fruit in the trash category, which kinda sucks because it's kinda useful. Now, imagine you're falling off a cliff and you don't have an elytra or something to protect yourself. Just eat a chorus fruit and bam, you're saved. What if you're stuck in a wall? Eat one of these and bam, you're saved. This isn't really a food, as it only gives you like 4 bars of hunger, but it's more of a utility, and a pretty useful one at that. You do need to go to the end to get them, so they're not going to be useful to early stage Minecraft, so A tier. Mutton is alright actually. It gives you 6 bars of hunger and you get them from sheep, which is pretty cool. Finally, sheep get their own meat, so obvious A tier. Beetroot just gives 1 bar on its own. Plus, they aren't very common to find. You can only find them in certain villages and in chests. Honestly, I'm putting this in D tier over clownfish because at the very least, they're easier to farm for whatever reason. Oh yeah, beetroot in D tier? Well, what about beetroot soup? It's a little better as it gives you 6 hunger points, but it's still expensive to make, as you need a bowl, you need 6 beetroot to make it. Actually, now that I think about it, if you have 6 beetroot and you need to heal yourself, why don't you use the 6 beetroot to refill your hunger? Why do you need to make it into a bowl? I suppose it makes things a lot quicker, but what? This is pointless. At the very least, make beetroot soup heal like 7 points. Why does it have to be the same as 6 beetroot? The crafting recipe is 6 beetroot. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? I'm putting this in D tier with beetroot. This thing's just pointless, honestly. In the 1.9 combat update, they changed enchanted golden apples to be non-craftable anymore, which you needed gold blocks to create, which this kind of sucks. They are ultra rare, but they are super powerful. So, S tier they go. Dried kelp is interesting as you can eat them much more quickly than all the other food in the game, but you can only get 1 point of hunger from them. You are able to get kelp easily and farm them pretty easily as they're, large oceans, so I say it's a lot more worth it to farm them than to hunt. I'd say it's kind of worth it actually, because you can eat them relatively quickly. Now, my friend Devin said that these are actually kind of useful for PvP, which I find rather interesting, so I'm gonna put them in a C tier. Suspicious stew. Oh ho ho, suspicious stew. It's interesting as whatever flour you put in the recipe can change the potion effect that the person receives while drinking it. It gives you 6 hunger bars and a potion effect, which can be useful if you have regen and saturation in like combat, for example. But once again, you need bowls and you need mushrooms and you need a flour, so it doesn't come cheap, but you can prank your friends with this. You know that one scene from, wasn't it Monty Python or something like that, where one of the guys just had one wine was poisoned, the other was not, and they just kept switching them around until like one of the guys died? I swear, wasn't it from Monty Python? But it wasn't something like that. You can prank your friends with suspicious stew to be like that. I think that could actually be really fun. So, yeah, C tier. Sweet berries are actually kind of cool. They do give you only 2 hunger points, boo-hoo, but they are relatively easy to farm as you don't even need hoe to farm them. In a pinch, they are useful, but in the grand scheme of things, they're better. There are better. So high C tier, low B tier. I don't know. I'll put it here. Let's see how you like it. Honey bottles are cool as they can remove poison and refill your hunger points, which is 6 points. And you can stack them. Now, honey is a little bit better than milk in my opinion, but it's a bit of a hassle to set it up as you need to find a beehive, you need to set a fireplace below the hive, and make sure you don't get killed by the bees. But bees and honey, well, they're kind of cool. I mean, ask my friend Grant, he loves the bees. So, just for him, I'm putting this in the B tier. No, not the B tier, the B tier. Yeah, let's see how you like that. Alright, glowberries. Glowberries. They only heal 2 hunger points, but you can make some cool hermit purple vines. They are a bit rare as you can only find them in the 1.18 caves, but they do look cool when you can farm them, so it's going in the D tier. Cooked rabbit gives 5 bars of hunger, but rabbits aren't exactly the most common thing in the world to find, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't like killing rabbits. They're just so cute. So they go in B tier. Pufferfish really do suck, man. I mean, they only give you 1 bar of hunger, but they give you poison 4 or something like that. It's super strong, and it's enough to bring you to your knees at 1 heart or something like that. So it's E tier, E tier, E tier. Rabbit stew is really weird because it gives you 10 bars of hunger, which is insane. However, you need a carrot, a baked potato, a cooked rabbit, and a mushroom, plus a bowl. So, let's be real here. If you combine a baked potato and a cooked rabbit and a carrot, you're going to get more than what a rabbit stew produces. But I'm going to be honest here, this is probably the strongest bowl food. So, you know what? I'm putting it in B tier. Yeah, I'm serious. This thing's stupid as hell, but you know what? I mean, I think it's the best bang for your buck, even though kind of a scam. Alright, this is just a quick video I wanted to make. I mean, I just wanted to do something fun because school's been getting on my ass recently, and yeah. If you really do love my channel, alright, I'm gonna do this, what every other YouTuber does, but if you really do love my channel, don't subscribe. Only subscribe if you love my content, but I do recommend that you like if you like it, dislike if you dislike my video, but I really do recommend that you share this video wherever you go. And yeah, the end, el fin, adios, adios, adios.